I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's Talk. Hello and welcome to I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's Talk YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, January the 21st, 2021. And today's commentary, I wanted to talk about Meghan McCain. I have been, this is a YouTube channel. I often listen to various other YouTubers, various other bloggers. I'm an fan of the TV show The View. It is my hope, my aspiration one day to be able to start off maybe as a guest co-host and to one day just sit at the table to be actually co-host at The View. That is my aspiration. That is why I'm trying to, one, build this platform, stepping out on faith, because if I have stated in previous videos that God placed it in my heart and in my spirit. February the 22nd, 2018. So I'm coming up 3 years, and it was just last year that I really stepped out in faith, because faith without work is dead. That's why I started this YouTube channel. I'm activating my faith. I'm putting work, because God is a reward of them who diligently seek Him, and we must be willing to do our part to do the work. So that's a little bit about that. But this commentary I wanted to talk about, because like I said, I've seen on various YouTube channels where people are talking about Meghan McCain. One YouTuber stated, is Meghan McCain racist? It's been said since she's gotten back from her maternity leave that she doesn't hold pretty much the weight that she once carried, with being able to get basically her way. And I just wanted to kind of give my opinions, my thoughts, to expound on how I interpret and can give, again, just my thoughts and opinions about it. As we know, she was out for basically 3 months, because she had her daughter back in September, actually September the 28th. And she came back when they came back in the new year of January. And for those 3 months she was away, The View received the highest ratings that they had received in a long time, and against any other television, TV talk shows like, say, Good Morning America, The Talk, The Real, and various other TV talk show hosts. It was The View that received the #1 and the highest rating. And the catch to this, that's why it's so important, without Meghan McCain. Catch that again. Without Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. So it's been stated that she's really having to work for her job. And we know she has the job, one, because white privilege, being a white woman, and with the last name of McCain. John McCain's daughter, as she so often likes to let us know. She's John McCain's daughter. My father, my father, my father. You know, there's even a YouTube video of her saying that numerous times over and over. My father, my father, my father. So if you want to research that, you can. But she definitely is a woman of white privilege. She has an arts degree. She has no political experience. So I feel like if Meghan McCain can get the job, I can too. And I have a master's degree. I want to throw that in too. I don't have a famous father. I can't say I'm John McCain's daughter, or that I have a father that's been in politics, or someone that is rich. We know her mom is a heiress, so therefore Meghan and her 2 brothers are also, as they say, heiresses, born with silver spoons in their mouth. So she never has to worry about money. But again, the topic has been trending. Is she racist? And she's always just so rude on the show, on The View. And like I say, it's nothing against her being a Republican. It's nothing against her being a conservative, because she loves to try to point out conservative. Which, yes, her job is to give a conservative perspective. She's a member of the Republican Party. She's a conservative, so therefore she's giving her perspective as a conservative. But I don't need you to beat us in the head with you're a conservative. You're not the only conservative, and you're not the only Republican. I love how it was last week. I don't remember exactly. Well, it had to be last Friday, because Anna is the Friday co-host called Whoopi. Normally is off on Fridays. Every now and then she may show up on a Friday, but it's in Whoopi's contract to be off on Fridays, and Anna is the Friday guest co-host, and she's pretty much the fill-in when one of the other ladies like Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, or Joy Behar, and even Meghan McCain, when one of them are out. As we saw, it was basically Anna that did the fill-in while Meghan was out on her maternity leave. But I love how Joy said, well, Anna, what is your thought? Because you're the other Republicans, kind of like shade, hey, Meghan, you ain't the only Republican. Dear, you not. you might want to holler this conservative, but whatever. And but it's been trending about her being a racist, and it's her attitude. It's the attitude. It's the rudeness. It's the nastiness. It's the snarkiness. It's being snotty. It's being just unprofessional, not respecting her elders. As we know, Joy Behar is the oldest on that platform of the ladies. She's been there the longest. She started out when the View originally started out, which was 23 years ago, because they're in the 23rd season. And as we know, this show was started by Barbara Walters, the talented and phenomenal Barbara Walters, and Bill Getty, in which he has went on to be with the Tamara Hall show. And many other executives and things have left the View, but the show was started with Barbara Walters, and Joy Behar was one of the original co-hosts of the panel, and she left for a while, but they hired her back, and she's been there ever since. But most of us were taught by our parents to respect our elders. She has been on national TV and used the B word, calling Joy the B word. She continues to try and pick fights with Joy. In my opinion, just not being respectful, because, okay, it's stated that they're passionate women. You know, again, it's Whoopi, it's Joy, it's Sunny, it's Sarah, it's Meghan, and then when you include Anna, you got 6 women. But as a whole, every day is a normal 5 panel of women giving their views, their perspective, because the show was built around Barbara Walters and wanted to just have 5 women to come to a table, sit around the table, 5 different perspectives, 5 totally different views of women, but yet women giving their perspective on life's issue. And as we know, based on this show, The View has pretty much now resulted to about politics. That seemed to have been what this show is all about. And now with this 2020 presidential election is over, we shall see how what the topics and the subject matters and segments will be about. But it had basically become the number one. In fact, they once again got the number one most political show, got award and recognition for that. But it's Meghan McCain's nasty, self-entitlement, snotty, rude, unprofessional behavior, and how she treats not the fellow co-hosts, how she treats the guests that comes on. And then when they were in the studio, she used to be very rude and snotty to the audience. She's been very rude and unprofessional to the executive, Brian Tedder. She once called him an MF on live TV. Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. But yet, she still has her job. Let that have been me, an African-American woman. Let that have been Sunny. Probably wouldn't necessarily still have a job. I definitely would have gotten a write-up to go in your HR file. But again, Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, have thus far seemingly to have gotten away doing whatever she want, however she want. Like I said, being just completely rude, being completely disrespectful to everyone. She's even had her spats with Whoopi. And, you know, they have said that we leave it at the table. But Meghan has gone on her Twitter page and continue to carry the conversation, just like she did when her and Joy got into it. I mean, she's not professional, and she don't leave it at the table. She just, I'm gonna leave it at that. But the question has been asked: is she erasing it? In my opinion, I say yes, she is. And the reason I say that because one, her husband, who is a known, especially on the Twitter world, to being always tweeting very homophobic things and then deleting the tweets that he tweets. I know he once went off on Seth Meyer after Meghan did that interview, and Seth was basically asking her why was she being so rude to Omar, the Congresswoman Omar that's in the House of Representatives, and that was a conversation. Again, Meghan, and then her husband went on Twitter with his little rant and just being rude and unprofessional. Many times she's been rude to Sonny. Like I said, she's gotten in it too with Whoopi. George seemed to be the main one that she likes to pick her fights with. And like no sooner she came back from the maternity leave, she tried to pick one with Joy, and Joy just had, and like if people would be honest with that situation when she trying to wait, you miss me, and Joy said I didn't miss you. Joy acted in the moment, and she just gave a truthful, honest, in the moment response. And Joy said she did miss Meghan, and Joy's not the only one, because I didn't miss her. Had many fans did not want her to come back. So Joy isn't the only one. Joy just happened to say it on national TV, and the reason she said it was because Meghan, with her remark, well, you miss me, $. But again, you got what you asked for. Sometimes, like today, like watching today's show, it would have been a good day for her to keep her mouth closed. But no, she likes to try to turn the narrative. Always got to be in reflection to her, or either her personally or someone in her family or her friends. It's always going to be a narrative where she's turning the narrative. And I'm gonna play some clips that I want to play so that you would get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But again, it's just been saying that she's a racist. It's also been said in previous year, and this is something I think needs to be noted too, that where did she get this from? Your upbringing always plays a role. I know her dad, the late Senator John McCain, is known, especially in his latter years, as being, the marriage, being a hero and just loved and respected by many. As many often say, they loved her dad, but they can't stand her. But he hasn't always been a very nice person. Again, I'm not trying to defame him, especially with knowing that he's passed. But again, I'm going to be truthful. He's been known to have made bad slurs. He voted against MLK, Martin Luther King Day. He voted against the first Supreme Court Justice Sotar, and I know I'm not saying her name right, the lady that actually did the swearing in for Vice President Kamala Harris, Sotar Demar, I believe is how you, and forgive me for not pronouncing the name right, but John McCain, he voted against that. He also voted against, it said in 1983, he voted against Martin Luther King. In 1990, he voted against the civil rights. So, and I remember when he ran in 2008 against President Obama, when President Obama ran for the first time for president, his running mate was that of John McCain. And one time, First Lady Michelle Obama had made a statement. She was speaking at an engagement, and she said her statement was, "For the first time in my adult life, I'm proud to be an American." So the John McCain camp, they ran with it, trying to take stuff out of content. And his wife, Cindy McCain, made the statement, "Well, I've always been proud of my country." So again, where did she get this type of behavior from? As we know, a racist is something that is taught. That's learned behavior. That's what you see in your house. Like, who's to say what type of language was in the household. And I want to throw this in. I know that she has a sister that's adopted, that's from another country, basically person of color. But let's not get that twisted. Also, again, the McCain's has adopted sister. We know Abby Huntsman, her family has two adopted Asian, as well as another black child. We know the current sitting Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. She's adopted two children, two Haitian children, two children of color. Don't get it twisted when you see these rich, famous, well-known people, especially if they're in a political arena, political career. Don't think it's just because they really truly love and they really trying to give a better life for children from these various countries, children of color. A lot of times it's their own personal agenda that's behind. I hope these children are treated with kindness and, and love and nurtured and all that, just like their own children. I don't know, because I often pay attention to Abby Huntsman. She's always on her social media. You can see her always with her biological sisters. I very, very rarely see her with her two adopted sisters, the Asian young lady and the black young lady. She has two brothers that serves in the military, but very rarely do I see her showing off the two adopted sisters or talking about the two adopted sisters as I do her about her actual biological sisters and her two brothers in their family. And again, like I said, the newest Supreme Court Justice, we know Amy Coney Barrett has two adopted children, and then again, Meghan's family have the adopted sister. I don't know. This is me. This is me giving my commentary, my opinion in regards to, again, political families adopting people, kids from various countries and different race and ethics and all of that. I believe it's more of a personal gain than a true we want to adopt kids and show love, especially when you already got kids. Just like with Abby and Amy Coney, they already come from a large family. So it didn't make sense to me. But again, that's just my opinion. And as I have read once before about Meghan's dad, the late John McCain, life humbled Mr. John McCain. After he lost that election to Barack Obama, a black man, that humbled him. And as it has been stated, Meghan, one reason why she so despises the Obamas, President Barack Obama, she never got past, or she never got over the fact that President Obama beat her dad and became the president, and her dad did not. And so that's why I think she's have her such strong dislike, and always tries to, throw her little negative about President Obama or First Lady Obama and all of that. And then after the late senator getting cancer, and that's very sad. My heart went out to him and that. But life humbled him, and life has a way of humbling all of us. So Meghan has her time as well to come with the humbling of life, the humbling of life. And going back to today, George had made they were talking about the inauguration that took place yesterday, and George had called Ted Cruz an enemy people, and Meghan, I don't think it's right for George to call all Republicans. She did not say all Republicans. There is a difference. It's an extreme difference. Because if she'd have said all Republicans are enemies of the people, then Meghan McCain would have had the right to say, I don't think it's right for George to say all Republicans, all conservatives are the enemy of people. She called the man by name. She said Ted Cruz. She didn't think Ted Cruz should have been at the inauguration. And again, I'm in agreement with Joy Call. Ted Cruz, along with Josh Hawley, has been the two main Republicans, along with Kevin McCarthy as well, being the spokesperson that also helped, along with Trump, with the incitement of the insurrection that took place. He's not innocent. He shouldn't have been at the inauguration because he voted to try and overturn the will of we the American people. And again, the view is about 5 women giving their opinion. Joy gave her opinion in which she is entitled to do, whether Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, like that or not. It is what it is. It's not, everything should not have to be around Meghan McCain's approval. She seems to think it's the Meghan McCain show, and sweetheart, it is not. It is not. It's not the Meghan McCain show, but she tried to change the narrative, throw in the talking points from which many people already know and state. She get her talking points from her husband, and she just do the propaganda of talking points. She has no real authentic opinions of her own. And she has proved that over and over every time she tried to push her little talking points. And then when she's pushed, just like when she had asked Kamala Harris, now Vice President Harris, about defunding the police, and Kamala, what are you saying? And she's explaining what defund the police mean. And then Meghan, I haven't actually did any research. How are you gonna say you haven't done any research and you asked this woman about defunding the police? And then how she tried to pick a fight. I didn't like when at the time it was Senator-elect, and as of yesterday is now Senator Pastor Raphael Warnock. He had came on the view that Wednesday, the same day the insurrection had taken place, January 6th, called that previous Tuesday, he had won the runoff against the appointed Senator Kelly Loeffler. And Meghan McCain, because of course whenever they have a guest, they always let each lady ask the question, and sometimes they have can get asked more than one question. But she had asked the question about what was his thoughts about packing the courts. And his response was, well, his concern was about the people that he will be representing in his state of Georgia. His constituents was concerned about having food on the table, a roof over their heads, to pay their bill. They weren't talking about or had a concern about packing the courts. He answered the question that was asked of him. But Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, being who she is, and always, because she didn't like the answer, because it wasn't the answer that she wanted, she didn't get the response that she wanted to hear, or what the talking points is of that of the Republican Party. She just kept on, just tried to press the man on and on, again trying to pick a fight that Whoopi had to interject, like, stop it, no. And that's ridiculous. She always, and like I said, she doesn't do an interview with the guest. She does interrogations. A difference. And it's been stated that she didn't do they say they normally do like a screen test with whenever they get ready to hire co-hosts to be a part of the show. They normally screen test them with other co-hosts and things of that perspective. They didn't do that with Meghan McCain, probably because, again, hey, that's John McCain's daughter. John McCain's daughter doesn't require us to do what we normally do, give screen tests to the people that we are considering to be a co-host, because it's been stated in various others, again, from other bloggers that I've heard, and just different things that she wasn't like that. Cause there's been years past that she had been a guest co-host, but it was only after she was actually given a full-time co-host job that as time went by, and obviously as she got more comfortable, just like with what we've experienced the past 4 years with this previous administration of the 45th president, and the Republican, they got more comfortable with being who they really are, the racist people and white supremacists that they are, that she came out with who she is. The rudeness, the self-entitlement, like it's all about her. It's been said that she has caused people their jobs. Well, her and her husband spats on social media, which is basically Twitter. She's caused people like Sherry Shepherd, who was once a former co-host of The View. Sherry Shepherd had went on What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. As we know, Andy Cohen has a show that he often has two guests in. On this particular show or episode of Andy Cohen, he had asked, it was a question asked of Sherry, what was her thoughts about Meghan McCain, because again, that's had been with Meghan McCain, picking fights with Joy and just being rude, just being unprofessional, just being very snotty, just being just disrespectful. And he had asked, well, what were her thoughts, or what she say to Meghan, and Sherry was kind of like caught off guard, but she just responded to the question. Well, she just said, well, I would just say basically just kind of calm down and, don't take everything so personal, and don't just wear everything that it's all about, that you got to overwhelm yourself. She just simply said, I would just say, calm down. Meghan McCain didn't like that. Because Meghan McCain didn't like that, Sherry Shepherd has basically been banned from The View. We have not seen Sherry Shepherd on The View, and it's got to be that because we haven't seen her. All because Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, the young lady that has no real experience other than being rich, white, self-entitled, white privileged woman, and the daughter of John McCain, is how she got her job. That's why she sits on that panel. That's why she has a platform. But she has caused a talented woman, a comedian, and again, a previous actual co-host to no longer be able to come back and guest co-host. Tara Selfmeyer was a former of the Republican Party, but it was just last year she stated that she's leaving from the Republican because she was just tired of all the Trumpism, and that she had stated on various times when she did guest co-host on the Views, it had became a cult. In fact, her and Meghan McCain, again, I'm gonna play some clips, but her and Meghan McCain had some run-ins about that, and on the last time that Tara was on the show, Meghan, it's been reported allegedly and stated that Meghan went to higher ups, HR, or again higher ups, where she can do what she want, and she got Tara Selfmeyer, a very intelligent, a very beautiful woman that speaks so eloquent. She knows her stuff. She's not like Meghan McCain. She doesn't use talking point. She does her actual thinking for herself. She has her own podcast, and she has been a very active person in the Republican Party. But because Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, didn't like the fact of she calling Trump a cult, she got her banned. And I still don't understand. Meghan McCain loves Donald Trump. She seems to care more about him, have more respect for him than she does her father, John McCain. Is why she has the job and the platform she has. Ain't no way. Same thing with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, Trump called his wife ugly. He not talked about Ted Cruz, just degraded him. But yet he's his biggest advocate. And Meghan McCain, Trump has degraded her father while he was alive and in death. Have degraded and talked about her, their entire McCain family, but yet she still loves in support. But as we know, her husband's father was a part of the Trump administration, as well as her husband's sister. I once had said, well, is Trump her father, or is John McCain her father? The way she loves and always support, just because you're a Republican and a conservative, but when someone has done what Trump has done, you're not going to have me being your advocate. You're not going to have me being your spokesperson. No. You done berated me, my family, and I'm going to still go out publicly on national TV and on social media platforms, being your biggest advocate, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But and also, it was reported that the hairstylist, a beautiful black lady, I love her. She's so sweet. She's so humble. Karen, and I'm gonna mess that name up too. Start with a P. I'm not gonna try and pronounce her last name because I know I mess it up. But she is the makeup, hair, and makeup stylist on The View for all the ladies pretty much on The View. And as it's been stated, even previous View co, I know she's done makeup for Raven Simone. I heard Rosie O'Donnell also. She still have done makeup for her and all of that. But she's won makeup awards, been recognized for her great work. It was stated that Karen allegedly had liked the tweet. Someone had tweeted or said something about Meghan McCain, and Meghan McCain saw it. Meghan proves how immature she is. Didn't like the fact that she had liked the tweet. Had again went to HR, the higher ups, and tried to get the lady fired. But in this time, her little tactic didn't work. Whoopi interjected and stepped in on the behalf of Karen. So Meghan was trying to get her fired, but Whoopi stepped in again, interjected in defense of Karen. Karen still has her job. So that tactic of Meghan McCain didn't work as it had with her banning Tara and Sharon. Sherry Shepherd banned from the show. But let me try and play excuse me, these clips that I wanted to play, because like I said, today she tried to do the narrative with Joy. Let me play that first, and then we'll talk about that.
Beautiful speech, and I thought it was beautifully executed, and I echo what everyone's saying about him, talking about the uncivil war and, that we need to come together as Americans and give him a chance, and I thought it was a really beautiful inauguration. The flip side of this is that there are 74 million Americans who, didn't vote for him. This was a much closer election than it should have been, and I think the question I have is, I believe Joe Biden. I don't know if I believe the rest of the Democratic coalition. I just listened to Joy call Ted Cruz an enemy and ask why he was even present at the inauguration. So if the rest of the Democratic Party and the left want to act like all Republicans in all factions of this country are the enemy, I have trepidation going forward on just how much hope I have for us coming together, because it's a great day to be a Democrat, but to be a conservative or to be a Republican, Megan, am going in this with good faith that President Biden will want to be a bipartisan president that wants to work with the other side. I wholeheartedly believe him. But the Democratic coalition is a giant one, and there's infighting in and amongst themselves, let alone with Republicans, and I don't want to be considered an enemy of the people, because I'm still a Republican, I'm still a conservative. I disagree with policies he's already invoking and the executive orders he did last night, and I hope and pray that the rest of the country follows his lead on my side as well. But I hope the Democrats stop referring to us as enemies. We have to work together and live together and coexist.
Now, she said we have to work together and live together, but you be basically, again, reverting back to the Meghan McCain, that you continuously to show us who you are. Every time I try to give this woman the benefit of the doubt, she goes back, she reverts back to who she is, like the late Milo Angelou has said. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And Meghan McCain, and I said this, I'm like, every time I try to give her a chance, she never fails to show who she really is. Monday on the show, which was Martin Luther King, as we know, the third Monday in January is the federal holiday for the late Dr. Martin Luther King, the civil rights activist, and was a pastor who was assassinated for his activism for civil rights and to peacefully protest and all of this. Meghan McCain openly talked about how she and Sunny Hostin, being one of the ladies of the co-host, they've had on the air hard talks and behind the scenes, off the air, real, true, hard conversation, and she's the one to try to see what she can do. I basically thought Monday, okay, I'm not fair for Meghan McCain again. She's really talking about. She even asked when they had Representative Cori Bush. You know, we all are feeling hopeless. What can we do? I even saw where another platform has said, "Well, did Representative Cori Bush bring Meghan McCain to tears?" Basically, like with ominous of having hope and to always have hope and to have faith and exercise that, but she just never seems to astonish me to always resort it back to who she. Today, Thursday, the day after the inauguration, she's back to being despicable, repeating her homophobic racist husband talking point. No one cares about conservatives, not even like that's just the job, the talking points, and the job that pays her. She's no more of a conservative than I am. It had been stated before her father in 2008 ran for the presidential election and won the Republican nomination to be the candidate to run against Barack Obama, who became the first African American president. It was stated that Meghan McCain was a registered Democrat. Yeah, check that out. So I see why the talking points are out there where it's your race, because she definitely reflects that of a racist, in my opinion. Let me play what she had said Monday. Like I said, just Monday she was praising. This is her talking with Representative Cori Bush.
What we can do going forward to try and bridge divides in this country and work together collectively as Americans, because I think a lot of people are just feeling, especially after the terror attack, like we are a country completely divided with nothing in common anymore.
So I am going to say, don't feel hopeless. Let's start with that. Don't feel hopeless, because that's how we get through. You gotta have hope. That hope is on the inside of you. Now remember this, we don't go by what happens externally. That shouldn't shape what's happening on the inside of us. We have to.
That was the conversation with her and Representative. But let me just play where she was talking about the conversation she and Sonny have had. Let's listen to that.
On this day, because Dr. King was nothing if not an incredibly hopeful and optimistic man who at his
this is her talking on Martin Luther King Day
and light and the blessings of democracy. If there's anything I have learned personally in the past year in 2020, it's just how deep and intense the original sin of slavery in America is. And I think for a lot of people, myself included, this summer with the Black Lives Matter movement and all of the murders of unarmed Black men has been, I wouldn't say a wake-up call, because obviously we are all well aware that racism still exists in the country. But I think for me, the pain, we haven't done the healing and the work since Dr. King's assassination that we really should have and need to continue doing. Racism exists all over the country in all different factions. It's not just, rednecks in the deep south, if you will. We had a racial scandal on this very show at this very network earlier in the summer by someone that I don't think anyone would think had racial tendencies. And I just want to say that on a very personal level, I have really been deeply grateful for the conversations we have had on this show, on air and off air. I particularly want to thank my co-host, Sunny, who has given me so much grace and patience and had really hard conversations about a lot of things that have really helped me grow and understand things that I don't think I would have necessarily understood. So I think there is room for growth and communication, and I think we have to keep talking to one another and keep giving us as Americans grace and love and solidarity, because I don't know one person that doesn't want us to heal and move forward. And as Condoleezza Rice said, one of my personal icons and heroes, all of us have to take a hard look at what we are contributing to racism in this country. And I believe that I am making my best attempt at doing that. And I implore every other conservative and Republican to do that as well, because there isn't this much pain and anguish and protesting if there isn't real deep-rooted pain that hasn't gone unaccounted for.
Now that was Monday.
Smart, listen.
That was Monday. Like I said, she's giving on national TV. Want to say she want to thank her co-host Sonny. Then today she reverts back to her. So, and I remember when her dad passed, I saw her because of, her dad was a senator, had been a senator for years, had in the political arena for decades. So therefore, she and her family had to share his going away and their grievance with we, the public. They couldn't grieve in private, and my heart broke for her because she's always had such a rude, snotty, and just nasty attitude, and so disrespectful and just so unlikable that I never cared for her. But when I saw her publicly grieving, because you could tell she loved her father, and hey, all of us, most of us, especially girls, we're daddy's girls. Our dads are our heroes and all of this. But my heart broke. I grieved with her. I grieved for her and their family. And when I like I said, seeing her just publicly grieve when they were at the when they was there in Arizona, when they did when he was at the Capitol in Arizona, and then when they took him to the rotunda there at the nation's capital, and when he lied and stayed, and when they did his funeral that we, the American people, got to be a part of, and when she spoke and she gave her eulogy that he had asked her to do, like I said, just seeing the grief that she did, that she showed, I grieved for her. I agreed with her. Then as I watched when she returned to the View after she had took her time off to do her grieving, the grieving process, and when all the co-hosts just raved around her, showing love. At that time, it was Robert Brown was there. She was guest co-hosting. Whoopi, that was Abby was there because she had just joined, and Sonny was there. And like I said, they all just welcomed her with love, with open arms, and she gave her thanks to everybody. And I saw where Tyler Perry had even mentioned how he was so appreciative to how all the women just again just supported her and just gave their love and their just support to her. They just they took her in their arms with love and with care and with kindness. And it wasn't long that she reverted back to the same rude person. We understand there's disagreement, difference of opinion, because sometimes even say those that may be of the same party, the Democrats or the liberals, as they like to say, they don't always agree. And yes, she's the Republican spokesperson, the conservative voice, and all of that. So yes, her perspective is different from that of the others, but it's the delivery. None of the other ladies are disrespectful as she is. Like I said, she's been disrespectful to every last co-host. That's from Whoopi, Sonny. One time she was told, Sonny, you don't have to look at me that way. Sonny stopped looking at her. She's been rude to Sarah. Again, Joy is her favorite that she said rude and trying to pick fights with. She's tried it with Anna, and she's done it with a lot of the guests. And when they were actually there in the studio audience, where they had live artists, she's been rude to the audience. She's been rude to the executive, Brian Tedder, and she's tried to get the makeup artist Karen fired from her job just because the woman liked the tweet, which is her personal right. That's had nothing to do with her job. That was just on a different platform that she liked the tweet. And if that's what she wants to do, she has that right. Again, she's had a former co-host, Sherry Shepherd, banned from coming to the show. She's banned Tara Steffmeyer from coming. It's been stated allegedly that she and her husband had sought out to ruin Tara Steffmeyer's career. I'm going to read a tweet. And this is dated. It's dated February the 29th, 2020. This is a retweet that Meghan had retweeted. It was tweeted by Washington Examiner, and this is what Meghan McCain said. I've never done jack shit to you at Tara Selfmire. Stop using my name for media attention. And the Washington Extremist, this was their post again that Meghan retweeted. You have millions of these cult followers because it's a cult. At Tara Selfmire says at Meghan McCain and her husband bullied her into silence after she made comments referring to at real Donald Trump supporter as members of a cult. And this is Tara Selfmire. She responded, and this is again dated February 29, 2020. First of all, the headline is incorrect, and I immediately confronted the writer on here to say so. And there were 200 other people in the room who could back that up. That's what Tara Selfmire said. And she ended her response, Tara did, saying this. Secondly, I don't need to use your name for media attention and never have. And let's see. Can you read that? You can't see it for some reason, my lighting. But that's, I'm sorry. But that's the tweet. And now let me play a couple of clips. This is one. It's from when 2 times that Tara Selfmire was a guest call. This says feud erupts on The View after commentators send in insults.
Screaming loudly, but I don't think it's the most efficient. It's not just efficient, it's not the smartest way. Right, it's counterproductive. And this isn't something where when you say, well, they did it first, that didn't win on the playground, it's not going to win here. We have to have a calculation. That's right. I have reason to say the first thing is that Alex Jones' inclusion of that I take such offense at. He's a lunatic that has had to apologize to
Madonna doesn't speak for the Democrats.
But Trump also validated Alex Jones, unfortunately, by appearing on the show.
Who had to apologize to Yogurt again. Like, he's absolutely out of his mind, and I don't like giving him any attention anywhere. I don't think he should be on ABC.
Why would the president give him
still
attention?
Speaking.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Secondly, I am also a Republican. I don't consider myself in a cult. I don't consider myself a sycophant. I just don't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. I'm not someone in the Republican Party that lost my mind and can't call balls and strikes like I see them. These 2 Supreme Court decisions, big wins for us. He has made decisions that I agree with. When you're talking about vitriol, I'm sorry, but my family obviously has been at the direct target of that, and I understand that as well. But as commentators, we have to call balls and strikes like we see them, because if you start turning into Trump, as some commentators in my own party have done, and you become him and you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, everyone stops listening to each other one way or the other, and we have to be intellectual.
Look, but how do a lot of people agree with that? But my question is, then how do you speak truth to power when power has so much power in all the areas?
Legally, you do it by protesting. You do it by engaging with your civil servants. I think there is ballot box, and at the ballot box, it's
how do you
our
fight
constitutional right to do that.
How do you fight his constant lying? For instance, he's already tainted the Mueller investigation with so many lies, and he's told people it's not going to be true. So when the Mueller investigation comes out and says guilty, 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 is anyone going to believe it? How do you respond to that sort of lying and mendacity?
Right, with truth.
And the other thing is, right now you have Republicans in every branch of the government, and in order for it to be a little more balanced, people should be looking to the midterms. And if you're moderate, or you typically, swing to the right a little bit, maybe you look and say, for this to be more of a conversation to push back, we need to have one part of this government represented by Democrats. They don't have power right now.
Well, but if Democrats continue to act like that, what we just saw, then that doesn't make any.
Well, not like that. What's your advice?
You have to come back with facts and act rationally, not so emotionally with things, because emotion begets emotion in ways that I think become very dangerous and counterproductive. The words that the Democrats are using, and like what Maxine Waters was doing, what Samantha Bee did, like those things just elevate the ugliness. What did Michelle Obama say? When they go low, you go high. And I think if Democrats did that, they wouldn't.
You say when they go low, we should go lower. But we've been talking all week on the show about what Maxine Waters said.
Right.
And the problem right now is, for me, even when I want to meet in the middle, which I concede on the middle on this show often, and I don't don't understand the idea that for a swath of the Democratic Party, it is now socially acceptable to go up to someone who works in the White House, which includes people in my family, as I've been, and harass them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That could escalate
That's
easily.
crazy.
Again,
It's dangerous.
Steve Scalise, Gabby Giffords, if we are learning nothing, it's a dangerous world out there, and that messaging from Democrats is not going to fly in.
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
And that emboldens the other side, too.
Harassment is
I'm using
inappropriate.
Maxine Waters' words, harassment.
Harassment
She
is
said
inappropriate.
harassment.
But I do believe that we can never forget that it is our constitutional right to speak up, to speak out, and to protest. It is our constitutional right
I
to
think
meet
people
with
should start
public
Absolutely.
service.
I'm not saying protesting. There's a difference between protesting and harassment. Coming to a mob and coming up to a group of people, if you're again, it could possibly be me, as I've said the entire week.
Yes.
Going to a restaurant and being harassed. The words Maxine Waters used. It should not be socially acceptable. I thought it was also illegal to harass
She,
people in this country.
did not say anybody should be harmed.
She said harassment.
She did say harass.
Harassment means we disagree with you, we don't like your policy.
Harassment is never appropriate, and yes, harassment is illegal. However, protest peacefully, speaking your mind, speaking your voice is not illegal, and in fact, it is our right.
Okay, I gotta go. We'll be right back with more hot topic.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a video of when Tara. And this is the last one that I want to play. This is the one I'm about to play now. This clip is the last time Tara Seth Meyer was on The View, and this is when she and Meghan got in their big fight in regards to Tara saying that Trump was a cop. And that was probably, it's been a few years, maybe this might have been like 18 or 19 when this actually took place. Let me see if I can see when the actual date was. And
Verizon 5G is here with the coverage of 5G nationwide.
And it's been that long since Tara, like I said, because Meghan got her banned from the show. We see it has turned into a cult. The Trump administration president turned into just that, a cult. But this is her last time on the show, and obviously this is when allegedly, I have to say the terms allegedly, Meghan went to higher ups, HR or higher up executives to get Tara banned from The View, and it has to be true for the simple fact Tara and Sherry have not been back on The View since these alleged things that took place with Meghan McCain. And if she could have gotten the makeup artist Karen fired, she would have, again, because of Whoopi stepping in and interjecting and said, leave Karen alone. Karen still has her job. But let's listen to this clip.
I don't think undermining democratic institutions, norms, and ideals to have someone like this who's dishonest, unfit to be president is worth it. No, I don't.
Listen,
I so enjoy
the never Trump.
I said it is Republican and Republican crime.
Because I think if you're ignoring what's happening in the party and you're ignoring what's happening traditional conservatism and you're constantly criticizing every Trump supporter, every person who held their teeth and thought it was actually, as someone who's hyper pro-life, it was important to me to have two people on this. I mean, one I thought, but two now we're lucky to have it. So the idea that you're just sitting here and saying everyone who supports Trump is in a cult.
I didn't say everyone.
See how Meghan always takes people's statement out of context?
Trump has like 89% of the Republican Party. So 89% of the Republican Party are in a cult.
The ones who are willing to speak out and criticize him when he deserves it, okay, fine. But there's a large group, including a lot of members of Congress, who have completely sold their principles down the river. They are hypocrites.
And she's telling the truth.
And is it worth staying in power? I don't think it is, and I've said this before. Believe me, it tears me apart as a lifelong conservative who has worked on the front lines of conservatism to see the party and conservatism perverted this way. Would you leave the Republican Party over this? Why haven't you left the party? Because I feel like there needs to be people. No, because I feel there needs to be people. I still believe that the conservative principles are true. Just the infallibility of the messengers is what's killing it.
There are a lot of people like Steve Schmidt
You have to have people that are willing there to fight for it. So
there are a lot of people like Steve Schmidt that are saying, I can't do it anymore, I'm a Democrat. I will say there are still principles that are true.
I think there's a divide.
we've seen over and over with Republicans, there are a lot of people that have conservative ideals that say, at what point am I giving up my humanity for this?
Give up
Because
power.
the fact is, let me finish, because that talk about what I was just saying about Walmart people. Trying to say, we're sitting here
talking at once. I'm going to go to break. I'm going to give you the last word.
That's
Go
why
ahead.
we needed the bell.
We don't need the bell. Shut up with the bell.
I don't understand
With the bell. Go ahead.
I don't understand why we're not trying to understand.
See how at that time it was in the studio. You see how the crowd booed her out?
I'm just trying to. I have made the conscious choice, and I have more reason than anyone in here to dislike President Trump. I'm sorry, but I've made the conscious choice to try and understand his voters, understand what's happening in the party, and by the way, have some compassion for some people who felt like they didn't have any other choice. And I think when we sit here in studios in Manhattan, judging the middle of the country, we make no waves whatsoever. Not you. Anyway. And no one was listening to me because my parents happen to be conservatives, and they probably voted for Trump. So I too have a connection to this. My point was that there's a divide. Not all conservatives agree with Trump. Sadly, they have to give up on things they did care about, like Supreme Court justices and other things, because he has undermined the party.
Are they complicit?
Well, that's the problem.
They're not holding him accountable. They are complicit. We could have had a sane Republican do exactly the same things. We didn't need Donald Trump to just do it.
Jeb Bush had $100 million. Jeb Bush had $100 million and still couldn't pull this off because the messaging is off.
Bad candidate.
I'm sorry. I literally
I have
can't.
to wrap. Thank you all for speaking your minds. We'll be right back.
And that was
It's on.
the two clips of Tara Stephenwolf being on The View, and her and Meghan having their disagreement, feud, or fight, however, whatever you would like to announce that as. And again, the one I just played was the last time that Tara was a guest co-host on The View, all because of the disliking of Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. And it's just like, how is it that the least co-host with the least merits, the least credentials, has so much weight? Or again, white privilege. She's a white woman. She comes from money. And her dad, the last name of McCain, the fact is of she being the daughter of John McCain is why Meghan McCain has the platform, is a co-host at The View, and is able to do all that rhetoric and lies and just conspiracy, again, Republican propaganda, talking points, and get away with it. White women, white privilege, and the bonus being the daughter of John McCain. Anyone else, that wouldn't be talking. Just those two clips alone that I just played, how rude she is. And again, always trying to misconstrue, take people's words that they say out of context. Just like she didn't say all Republicans. Tara didn't say all Republicans. She said some, a large majority. There's a difference in saying everyone, all, but then saying some, that's just a select few. Or like, again, when Joy said Ted Cruz, she didn't say the entire Republican Party is the enemy. She said Ted Cruz. And Joy went on to say in today's show, and I don't take it back, I stand behind it. And kudos to you, Joy. So we shall see if Meghan will continue to have her job, have a platform that was just been given to her. And she gets to do pretty much what she wants. But we just continue to see how it all plays out. Everybody don't get the opportunity to be given a platform of that magnitude. Get to make the decent, beautiful, huge salary and be a TV talk show co-host, and then just working for ABC, where she have on various other shows like George Stephanopoulos, where she goes on and give her commentary on that. She has a major platform that she has not established or built by her own merits, on her own or her own regards. is because of being John McCain's daughter and simply white privilege. And as we have seen, we know, like Sunny shared with us how she had, her dressing room was on a whole different floor. And again, we know how the lady name was Barbara Ferrito. I know Barbara was the first name to the lady that's no longer with ABC because of her racistness for Sunny and also Robin Roberts from Good Morning America. But Meghan McCain gets to sit there, get people banned from the show, gets to be very unprofessional, gets to be rude to everyone, including the guests. And again, when they had a live audience, was often rude to the live audience. And all of the co-hosts, she's been very rude to. But she still has a platform. She still gets to sit at the table and give the opinion that her husband gives her. Because again, it's not her. It's not her. That's a fact too. But this has been my commentary in regards to whether or not Meghan McCain is a racist. What are your thoughts? Do you think she is a racist? Do you think she should have the platform that she has? Do you think she should actually have the job being a co-host of The View? Honestly, I would love to hear your thoughts in regards to this conversation. So please, let's get a conversation started in the comment section. And again, I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk.